Hello, Revere, and welcome to another show with our people who are running for office. And we have a Councillor At-Large, Mr. Tony Zambuto. Tony, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Morris.
It's a pleasure
Happy
to have
be
you
here. It's always
Right. Before we start, I would like to introduce a friend of yours. The name is Fiona, who ran for a show dog and became #1. But you can expand on that, Tony.
Well, this is a very special show dog. This is champion Lonsdale Fiona. She just came back from Ohio at a national specialty show where she won and she got her championship. Actually, she went to New York after Ohio, and that's where she finished her championship. But she's a very special show dog, and we're very thrilled with her. And so you asked me to bring one of my friends with me, so I decided to bring Fiona, who has been away for about a month, and she just came back. So
one question I have for you, and I hope she's not running for office, is she?
No, she's not.
But I'm glad you are.
She helps me run for office. All my dogs always help me because you know that dog owners stick together, and a lot of people know about my very special West Highland Light Terriers.
Right, Tony. What a beautiful dog. Now I want to get to you. You're running for councillor again. How long have you been a councillor on the city?
I've been, you know, it's funny you ask because a lot of people say to me, Tony, you've been a councillor so long, why do you want to keep doing this?
That's right.
I'll tell you the truth. I keep doing it because I make a difference.
You do, Tony.
You know, I don't need to do this. I do it because I love the city, and you know, everybody knows I tell the truth and I do what's right. Now, that doesn't make me the most popular guy because a lot of people want to hear what they want to hear and not the truth. But I don't do that. I tell the truth and let the chips fall where they may. But, you know, I'll just tell you a couple of stories about me making a difference on the city council and why I want to stay there and why I'm running for re-election after all these years. You know that I was the leader in our fight to build a new police station.
Right.
You know, it's not so new anymore. It's still a state-of-the-art, one of the most state-of-the-art police stations in the state. And we just had our new E911 regional dispatch come online. And so, in that respect, it is the top of the line in the first responders vein. But, you know, that was one of my goals when I first came to the city council, was to build a police station. You know, we had that dilapidated building on Pleasant Street that the prisoners used to hit with their elbow and walk out of jail. And it was deplorable conditions for our police force. And so that was my goal, to do that. But, you know, one of my proudest achievements, not many people know about, and that's that I changed the special permit law. You used to be able to get a special permit the same day as the public hearing. Now, what that meant was you didn't get to see all the details. And if you could secure 8 votes as a developer and get the special permit passed, unfortunately, what we'd end up with was a lot of projects that we might not like because we didn't know all the little details, the dirty details that were in there.
Right.
So what I did was change the ordinance and have it so it has to go to committee for at least a week and see the sunlight of what's in this. And if that's the only thing I did, that changes the city for the next 75 or 100 years, because you'll never get a project that you don't know about, you don't know what's in, passed until it goes to committee and sees the sunlight of what's in it.
Right, Tony.
So if that's my only accomplishment.
No, it isn't.
I know, but I'm saying if that was, I wear that as a badge of honor. And some of my friends, some of them not living even anymore, used to say to me, that's the worst thing you ever did was change that special permit. And I'd say, no, I wear that as a badge of honor. That's the best thing I could possibly do for the city. So if that was the, you know, I've done many other things like...
I'd like to mention one of those many other things.
Well, go right ahead.
The one I like the best that I heard people say, and you did it, and you yourself did it, was to think with the Hearses rent-a-cars.
Yes. Well,
expand on that for us.
well, as you know, when we were going to build a police station,
Right.
we were lucky enough to get special legislation to put a surcharge on rental cars and dedicate that to the police station, for the mortgage for the police station. And we generated quite a bit of money, as much as sometimes $1 million a year in surcharge revenue that went directly to pay the mortgage for the police station. Well, unfortunately, when the Massport built the garage, or consolidated all the rental cars on the airport, what that did to us was cut our revenue way down. So we had also given, at the time it was Thrifty, it became Hertz. Hertz bought out all these rental cars. And so Hertz took over this big lot. And so I'm coming home from church one Sunday. This is many years ago. You know, I'm a Eucharistic minister and a lector at the shrine,
Right.
St. Anthony Shrine in Boston. I'm coming home from church and I look over on 1A, and Thrifty's lot is completely full with cars. I said, what's going on here? They moved to the airport. How could it be full of cars? Well, we had given them a special permit to park cars, airport shuttle cars, and they pay to park. And it's a very, very lucrative business. So this lot was full, which meant they were making an awful lot of money. So what I did was I put a cease and desist. I went to the building department. I said, that use is no longer allowed because they don't rent cars, so they can't have an accessory use. So you have to stop them from doing business. Well, naturally, we did that. We stopped them, and right away I got a call from New Jersey from one of the executive vice presidents of Hertz. And he said, what's going on? I said, unfortunately, we gave you a special thing because we were making almost $1 million a year to pay our mortgage at the police station. And we gave you a special break. We called it an accessory use. Unfortunately, you're not renting cars there anymore, so that use goes away. Oh, can we do something? Can we do something? So naturally, I can't negotiate with them because it wouldn't be legal. So I told them to hire a local attorney and talk to the city, and maybe we can find a way to make the use work. And to make a long story short, we made the use work, and I'm pretty sure we're getting about $600,000 a year in
And
surcharge.
how many years was that?
That was a few years back. So
You could say at least over $1 million.
oh no, probably more like 3 million or 4 million. But the money's not the point. It's the point to an extent. But what it is there's a steady revenue stream that's going to pay our mortgage on the police station. So
That's fantastic.
but that's what I do. I think about how I'm going to help the taxpayers, and that's what I do. I work on things that I'm always working as a city councilor. Somebody said to me recently, it's funny. Somebody said to me, well, city council is a part-time job, isn't it? And I said, well, it may be part-time pay, but if you're doing your job as a city councilor, it's 24/7.
That's right.
We're always working, and I never don't answer my phone. I always, try to help people, because that's why I'm in this business. It's to help people. It's to help the city move forward. It's to do the right thing for the taxpayer, and especially the seniors. You know that I have a special relationship with the seniors.
I'm going to get to that eventually.
And they've put me in office for many years, and it's been a wonderful relationship. I've got to meet so many wonderful people like you, and you do so much for the veterans, and there's not many of the World War II veterans left. And
We lost a great one by the name of
Yes.
Sal Santoro.
100 years old.
104.
104
Yeah,
years
he was
old.
gonna
We
be
just
104.
lost him recently.
Yep.
A great American hero, and you're all American heroes. And
Everyone
what
that puts
you-
on a uniform is an
Absolutely.
American hero.
And
Tony.
what you do for this city and what you do for our veterans, nobody knows how hard you work for our veterans, but I do.
Thank you.
And we appreciate
But
it.
we're here to talk about
Eh,
that, Tony. But thank
listen,
you anyway.
People know who I am and they know what I'm about, and they support me because of what I do. And I try not to blow my own horn, except that when people ask me, well, Tony, you've been there so long, why do you want to keep doing this? It's because I make a difference. It's because I love the city.
And
I
because
want
the
to
people
continue.
love you, Tony. That's
Well,
why you've been there so
Yeah.
long.
They've been good to me. The people have been good to me, and I like to think I've been good to the people.
I'm going to make the people even be better to you if it's possible, okay?
Thank
And I'm
you.
going to do that to every councillor. But here's the question. I've had the councillors up here already previously, and the thing they talked about, but they had their own opinion, was on the new high school, the new development, about commercial development and residential development, traffic. Now, I brought up a subject that cameras, about cameras where there's plenty of accidents, to have them put on places so people can see it. The police or the state police can see exactly what happened.
Believe it or not,
And one other thing, which is the most important thing, the senior center itself.
well,
Well, that's for last. I wanna
let's
save that
take
part.
them one at a time.
Right.
So traffic is, you know, it's a difficult situation. It's all you can do is mitigate the traffic. I think you know that I also work for DOT, and so I'm very involved in.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. So I'm very involved in what goes on in the highway system. So, but believe it or not, there's a lot more cameras than people know. There are real-time traffic cameras throughout the state that you can see. Some of them even in Revere. And you can just go online and on the MassDOT website and look at that. And we'll talk offline, and I'll tell
Right.
you how to do that. But Revere Police Station has a lot of cameras, and they have a central location. They all see that right from the central dispatch. They see the cameras.
No, I'm talking about cameras on the street where the traffic is, where the poles are, like Bell Circle.
Yeah,
Like-
well, there are cameras there.
Okay.
There are, yes, there are. Maybe not enough, but, you know, they're not used for enforcement, you know that.
Oh, they're not?
No, they can't be. It's not legal. You can't write tickets with cameras.
Wait, you mean to tell me if a camera catches me going through a red light and that's the only thing, they can't give me a ticket for
No,
that?
not in Massachusetts right now. It's not legal, no.
Oh, I didn't
Some
know.
states do have it.
Okay.
But not here. Not
I
here.
shouldn't have said that because you're going to have a lot of people doing that now.
Well,
I hope
I don't
they do
think
catch
so.
you.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of enforcement. There's a lot of police. There's a lot of state police out there. There's a lot of people. You know, it's not a good idea to break the law. And one of the worst things is the cell phones and the
Oh,
handhelds.
please.
Distracted driving is worse than drunk driving right now. It's as bad. It's more accidents, especially in work zones where construction workers are working. More accidents because of distracted drivers. We've had, you know, and then there's the marijuana, which is a whole nother thing. And I'm sure you saw on TV, they just came out with, you know, it's legal to smoke marijuana, but it's not legal to drive high. It's legal to get high, but it's not legal to drive high.
That don't make any sense.
Of course not. Well, and you saw that Trooper Clardy got killed on the Mass Pike there. He was writing a ticket, and some guy that was on medical marijuana, who shouldn't be driving, went across the roadway and ended his life and left young children and all that. So it's really a you know, a difficult thing.
Before we get into the other questions, if you want to talk about it, you can. If you're not.
Go ahead.
The gentleman that was here before you spoke about sanctuary cities.
Okay.
I would like, if you want to, your personal.
Yes, absolutely. Well,
Your personal.
my personal opinion is I'm dead against sanctuary cities, and I'll tell you why.
That's good.
I don't have anything against someone who might have come here illegally and is doing the right thing and not breaking the law. I really don't want anything to happen to that person. However, sanctuary cities, and people are talking about a sanctuary state, God forbid. Sanctuary cities protect the criminals and the gangbangers, you see. I'm sure you saw in San Francisco that wonderful young lady that got killed.
Yes.
And the guy was deported, I don't know, 8 or 10 times, and he was back there, and he said he went to San Francisco because it was a sanctuary city, and they know he wouldn't be bothered, okay? He killed that girl. So I'm dead against sanctuary cities because it protects the criminals. Like I said before, the last thing I want to do is hurt someone who's obeying the law. You know, someone who might have got here, overstayed their visa or whatever. I'm not looking for that, but it's the criminal, the gangbanger. I want them off the street. I want them deported. They're killing people. You see it all around us here. and you know what it is. So,
Right.
in answer to your question, the short answer is I'm dead against sanctuary cities, and I usually say over my dead body. And so that's my position on sanctuary cities, and for that matter, a sanctuary state.
I spoke
And-
to a lot of people outside, not only you as a counselor, and 90% I would say agree with your statement.
Yeah, and you know, and the last thing I am is anti-immigrant. My parents were immigrants.
So were mine.
You know, so when people try to label me as anti-immigrant because I'm against sanctuary city, that's as far from the truth as you can get. I said it before, I say it again. I don't want to hurt the person that's not doing anything wrong, that might have got here not legally, but they're obeying the laws now. It's the criminals that are protected by sanctuary city and sanctuary state, and as long as I'm on this city council, I'm going to fight to not have this city a sanctuary city.
Good. Now I want to speak to you about the new high school.
Okay. Well, you're talking about a new
If
high
the-
school. I don't know that there's a new high school coming.
That's what I was going to ask you. I hear people talk
So,
about
I mean, there's a lot of talk about a new high school, and there's probably a need for a new high school. But before we, you know, one of the things I didn't talk about when I was mentioning some of my accomplishments, I was part of the building of the new 5 schools, not just part of it. The first 2 schools, I didn't miss one construction meeting. On my own time, I was at every single construction meeting, and even though we had project managers and stuff, I stopped some things from happening there because of my construction background that were not correct. And I dedicated a lot of time. So the first 2, really 3 schools, I was heavily involved in the construction of that. So I'm in favor of helping our students in any way I can. And, you know, if we have enough development to offset, you know, we get, in some cases, we got 80% funding for, you know, 80% reimbursement from the state, from the the school building association. I'm not sure the number's that high now. I don't know if it's 80%. But it's still a good amount of money. But you still need the foundation money, you understand? So unless we have quite a bit more development, I'd be pretty hesitant to be voting, you know. You've got to have the funding to build a new high school. So, and, you know, then there's a question of where do you build it? Some have talked about building it over the top of the other one and then tearing down the school from, you know, there's a lot of different things, a lot of different.
You're going to have to make plans when you start the new high school where you're going to put the kids that are going to this school.
Exactly. And then, you know, I'm sure that'll all be worked out.
Oh,
But
yeah.
the bottom line is there's got to be money. You know, the seniors right now can't pay their water bill. They can't pay their tax bill. And, you know, we've talked about a lot of things up in the city council, and some of them have been sensitive subjects, and people talk about Wheeler Brader, and
Right.
There's false stuff being spread about that they're a health risk. They've got a sanctuary, they've got a wildlife sanctuary up there, and but what people don't talk about is if you force them to pay more money, we have a 10-year contract with them to burn our trash, to take our trash, to pick up our trash. If you prevent that from happening in any way and make them have to spend any more money, well, it comes out of the taxpayers' money. So let's assume that you made them stop burying the non-toxic ash up there. Well, let's say that becomes $15 more a ton that we have to pay for the tipping fee for our trash. That could extrapolate to $300 on a senior's tax bill. You know how many seniors would be homeless if they had to pay $300 more in their tax bill? People live on a fixed income.
I know that, Tony.
So you know as well as anybody that there's consequences for every action. Now, some people are afraid to speak the truth like I am. I'm never afraid to speak the truth. I tell you, every action we do, there's a consequence for it. And so that's what I try to prevent up there, is doing things on emotion and not doing things based in factual data. I always work with the facts. I always do my homework. I do what's right for the city. And that's why I've been here so long, because people
Glad to
understand
have
that.
you. Now, the question is, before I get to the seniors, and I want to get to them, we got 8 minutes, so you can spend about 3.5 to 4 minutes on residential and commercial.
Okay.
If you'd like to speak on that.
Well, absolutely. If I had my way, everything would be commercial. But that's, you know, if I were king, I might be able to get away with that. But let's face it, you have to have a balance, you know, and it was, I'll bring up another touchy subject that was Shaw's, the Shaw site.
I live right
I
behind
know where
it.
you live, and I don't remember whether you were against it or not. I think you were kind of neutral on it.
I was, because of my age, I'm not worried about it.
Right.
I'm not going to be around that long to worry about
But there was a lot of heat about that project, and a lot of people called me and were very angry with me. But I always tell the truth. So what I did with that project was, I downsized it. I was the deciding vote. In order for them to build that project, they had to make some concessions.
How high was it going to be originally?
Well, I cut a floor off it, but more importantly, I cut 25 units off, which ended up being 30 units because 5 of those were 2 bedrooms reduced to 1 bedrooms. So we really got 30 units taken off. I got them to put $100,000 in mitigation money into Donnelly Square, and I got them to put in the language of the special permit that the hotel could never be anything but a hotel. You could never make it residences, because a lot of people were afraid that the Extended Stay Hotel, which is a beautiful hotel, there's one right in Chelsea near the Chelsea Street Bridge, that's gorgeous. The same people are building it, it's the same owners. It's a fantastic hotel. And I had them put language in that could never be changed to residences. It has to stay a hotel. So I took, which was a decent project, it wasn't great, and made it a very good project. And then I voted for it. And there's still a lot of people that say, oh, why'd you vote for Shaw's? Because I didn't want to leave a trash dump there, and I wanted to bring in some revenue for the city. The hotel's going to bring in plenty of revenue. It's a good tax base coming in there, and it's really a nice project. And so that's why I supported it in the end. But here again, people try to run away from that. And if, you know, sometimes there'll be 50 or 60 people against the project up there, and I'll look them in the eye and say, I understand it's in your neighborhood and you don't want it, but it's what's best for the city, and I represent the whole city, and I represent the taxpayers. So I have to do what's right, but the one thing I never do is lie to people. I always tell people where I'm coming from. I tell them the truth. They don't always like it. Some of them say, I'm going to work against you, I'm going to do, and that's fine. That's their prerogative, but they can never say that I lied to them, because I don't lie. There's one other thing I just got to bring up. Recently, somebody said to me, didn't you run on term limits? I go to speak to groups, and they say, how long have you been a city councilor? And I say, 18 years. I say, 18 years? I say, yes. And I ran on term limits. I got there, and I found out I made a difference. I was telling the truth, and I'm not accusing anybody of not telling the truth, but all I'm saying is I knew that I made a difference when I got there, and so I decided to stay. And I think what I've done over these years is real good for the city.
Right. Now, Tony, we got 4 minutes left. We're going to spend about 3.5 minutes on the senior center.
Go right ahead.
I go to the senior center. You've come 100 times or 1,000 times and seen it. When you go up the stairs, did you notice the railing and the brickwork on the left-hand side?
It's got to be replaced.
Got to be replaced.
Yes.
Number one. Number two, do you notice the parking lot in the back?
It's a
How
mess.
everything's crooked?
Yeah.
Do you see that sewer drain?
Yeah.
That opens up. One of these days, we're going to lose a senior. He's going to come walking who can't see good and he'll plop down the sewer. What are we going to do then? But that's not the question. The question is this. Why can that not be fixed? And it's not that big a project. I'm talking about the railing in the front. When there's some money, what someone mentioned to me, which I never knew about, which is called the free cash fund. Why can't some of that, I don't know if it can, but why can't a few dollars, and it's not that many dollars.
It's for capital expenditures. I will positively give you my commitment right here on TV tonight that I will address those immediate problems. But there's a bigger problem. The senior center needs a lot more work than just those things you mentioned.
You're right. Okay.
You're
right. But there was a couple of things here. 2 of the councilors that were here that are running, both of them have already are councilors now. They said they will bring it up at the meeting Monday night. Would you bring it up too?
I absolutely will, but the proper way to do it is by a motion. So we'll have to put a motion in, and it'll have to be a late motion because the motions end on Thursday nights. But
Okay, it doesn't
we
have
can-
to be this week
No,
or the next
but
week.
I positively will address it, I promise you. And if I, be honest with you, if I knew about it sooner,
I know that.
I would have addressed it, because you ask anybody at the senior center, ask Walter
Pfeiffer.
when he tells me about a pothole anywhere in the city, ask him who gets it done.
Right.
Because I do my homework, and I try to do the work, and I try to help everybody.
You know, I've seen it, and I never opened my mouth on it, but one of the ladies there almost fell off the railing, almost fell off onto the sidewalk.
God forbid.
Okay,
God
and if you
forbid,
look at the top of the railing, if you lean against it, it does this. But one of these days, it's going to do a complete
Wow.
90-degree drop.
We're going to get it fixed right away. That's a safety issue that has to be
Exactly.
addressed immediately.
Would you see that gets down for us,
Absolutely, you
Tony?
have my word. You
Tony,
have
we
my
got 2.5 minutes, so I'm going to give you 2 minutes and 20 seconds to wrap it up any way you want to. Just leave me 25.
word. Well, Morris, I
Oh,
want to...
before we go, I got to say, this is one of the most beautiful dogs that I have ever seen. Fiona, you're a credit to the city of Revere and to the state of Ohio.
She's a very special dog, and like I said, she just got a championship, and her name is now Champion Lonsdale Fiona. And we're proud of her. I love her like my little girl, and she's got a wonderful personality, and she's just a wonderful dog. And I'm happy to have her home because she was away for a little while. But
Go ahead,
let's-
take a minute to wrap it up.
Okay,
Tony.
so, you know, I want to thank you so much, Morris, for having me here. It's an honor to be with you anytime. You know
Thank
that.
you, thank
I
you.
tell you that when I see you at the senior center. You know, you're my hero. You know, you forget about, you know, what you did in World War II, but you know what you do right now, what you do for the veterans today. I think you're 88 years old. I don't know, but
Yep.
at 88 years old, what you do for the veterans is commendable. And you know, yeah, like I said, you're really my hero, and I'm not blowing smoke.
No,
you know I don't do that. So,
Thank you, Tony.
But listen, I'm running for re-election because I make a difference on the Revere City Council. I want to continue to represent the citizens, and that's young and old. You know, I want to protect the future of this city, and part of that is not allowing it to become a sanctuary city.
Right, Tony. Let me thank you for coming up, and
It's my pleasure.
let me say good luck to you.
Thank
God
you so
bless you,
much.
Tony.
Thank you, and
And
God
God
bless
bless
you.
your animal too.
God bless you, my friend.
Thank you, and God bless our troops, the city of
Yes,
Revere,
absolutely.
but most of all, our great country, the United States of America.
You got
And
it.
one more time, thank you, Tony, and thank you, Fiona.